Hi everyone, it's John Carasala Gardner. It is Saturday, July 25th. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Redwood City, and I'm sitting beneath these beautiful birch trees and in a sofa chair, which is really kind of nice. That's how nice the weather is here in Redwood City. Um, but I wanted to share something that has sort of come to my attention. Uh, two components. The first one I want to address directly is fatigue. As many of you know, I just came back from a pretty challenging journey in the month of June for my Sundance ceremony, and I've noticed, not atypical for coming back from Sundance, that I'm tired. Right after it's pretty intense experience, and it usually takes me a couple, 2, 3 weeks to get back into my groove. And I'm finally starting to get back into it and starting to teach more again. But I noticed that I'm not so psyched about teaching really intense classes. And I also sense that other people are feeling the same thing. Now, it's we those of us who teach and are teaching online now. We've been talking about something that we call Zoom fatigue, and it's not exclusive to yoga teachers. I think it's happening or likely to be happening for anybody who's spending a lot of time online and not in person. And there's something about that that's not as satisfying. It's more exhausting for a whole bunch of psychological reasons. So I think we're experiencing fatigue because we have changed the social construct really dramatically. And I don't think we've quite recognized just how significant that change has been on our nervous systems, right? So we're more enervated than typical just because of the technology that we're using to interact with one another, and it's different from being in person. So that's part of the fatigue. But I think there's another part too, and this it was reflected significantly in my Sundance experience. I think we're well. Let me share a little story to tee this up. Many years ago, it was probably 2012. I was talking with a dear, wise friend of mine, bemoaning the fact that I thought everything was falling apart, everything was dying. Right? Like I said, I must have said something like, "The world is dying, the planet is dying." And she said, John, that's true, but at the same time, a new world is being born. And that was a really profound statement, and it hit me just the right way. It's like, oh yeah, it really depends on where I put my focus. And I happen to be somebody who, my Mayan calendar symbols include death. Right? There's a lot of responsibility for my karma, apparently, to deal with and work with and understand and help things to die. Right? To help that process to make it more easeful. So I'm maybe more attuned to that than other people. Um, so today it's even more so, right? If I thought 2012 was rocky shores or tumultuous seas, 2020 is even worse, right? We're really seeing things falling apart here, and at the same time, we are seeing the glimpses of something, the potential of something new. And I think that is a reason to pay attention, is a reason to have a certain kind of expectation, an expectancy. Which brings me to the other piece of this, the other point. I mentioned it right at the beginning. There were two things that came up for me. One was fatigue, and the other is I'm noticing, particularly the women, in the middle of this really challenging, difficult times, I'm noticing a certain kind of behavior, particularly in the women, where they're doing a lot of gardening, they're doing a lot of home they're doing a lot of home stuff now. Sure, because where else can you go, right? Right. But there's something about it. There's a familiar energy about it, and what it reminds me of, because I should say, by the way, they're also extraordinarily exhausted, right? So, women as parents, as wage earners, as householders, they're doing a lot, and now they have to homeschool, and so there's a lot of exhaustion going on here. There's a lot of fatigue. There's a huge load, but in the middle of this, I see this desire to nest, and it reminds me of the behavior that women who are 9 months pregnant, the last 2 weeks before the birth, all of a sudden, it's really important to get stuff done. And so I'm sensing, and correlating this deep fatigue that we're experiencing and this bright, energetic nesting energy as an indication that maybe the time is nigh. Maybe we are expecting and the birth is coming. So, I don't know really, other than to share the thought, really, of my observation. I don't know what to do with that other than to smile and have hope. It's like, yeah, maybe we're going to have a baby, right? And if we are, let's get ready and let's be joyful and let's think about how we want to bring this new life into the world, right? If something new is being born, we got to be ready to be good parents. So let's smile, be joyful, and get ready. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you again. You can find more about me and my work and philosophy at bevital.life. And if you have comments or questions, please drop me a line. Thanks.